Thank you. For thousands of years, people have communicated using social media systems. What we think of as social media today is really just the latest incarnation of our timeless desire to be connected using whatever technology is available. Okay, I'll admit there was no prehistoric Facebook, but these ancient social media systems are really familiar to us. They're two-way conversational environments where information is passed horizontally from one person to another using social networks rather than being delivered vertically from an impersonal central source. Take a second. Statesman Marcus Cicero was posted in what's now Turkey in the 1st century BC. He stayed in close touch with Rome through a network of his social circle, all of whom gathered, filtered, and shared information in the form of papyrus scrolls distributed by messengers. The Romans also had a great method of sending instant messages, written on a stylus with wax tablets mounted in wooden frames. The recipient's response could be scratched on the same tablet and then returned to the sender. These tablets could be erased and used over and over again. Roman letters themselves were social communications, often copied, shared, commented on, quoted in other letters. Some were addressed to several people, written to be read aloud, or even posted in public. Citizens across the empire relied on an official daily accounting of the news called the Acta. This was only posted on wooden boards in the forum, and it wasn't distributed at all, but it relied on readers' social networks to reach a wider audience. Scribes were sent to copy parts or all of it every day, and it was sent to friends outside of the city, highlighting items of interest with added commentary, background, and other information. FYI, the Romans started the practice of using acronyms for common phrases in their letters to save time. While the elite communicated with scrolls, ordinary Romans literally wrote on each other's walls. Graffiti was used as public message boards. The walls of towns and cities were covered in ads, political slogans, discussions, and personal messages of all kind. They wrote about what they ate, who they loved, and carried on entire conversations on people's walls. When Martin Luther posted his list of items to be discussed on the door of his local church, which served as the university's notice board, it was a standard way to announce a public debate. What was unusual was how quickly these ideas, written in Latin, spread virally via a new form of media, printed pamphlets. These pamphlets were translated and appeared simultaneously in different German towns, paid for by Luther's friends who had been sent copies, and the propositions were known across the entire country within mere weeks. Luther learned from this and printed more pamphlets, this time in German, and they were shared and actively sought after. As with likes and retweets today, the number of reprints show how popular they were. His works were reprinted by millions during the first decade of the Reformation and proved impossible for the church to suppress. He employed multimedia as well, woodcuts and news ballads. News ballads were another new form of media. They were songs that were combined political commentary mashed up with familiar melodies. These were popular forms of propaganda that didn't require literacy to share. English coffee houses in the 1600s were important meeting places, sources of news, and acted as information networks. Many specialized in the discussion of a particular topic and allowed collaboration, which resulted in important works in the areas of science, business, and finance. The telegraph has been called the Victorian internet. It allowed people to communicate almost instantly across great distances. It was a worldwide communication network, but it still allowed people to connect in intimate ways. There was even a marriage ceremony conducted over the telegraph between Boston and New York. Well before Craigslist and Facebook, 19th century newspapers would run personals of lovelorn Victorians seeking to connect. Personal ads often targeted a specific individual but were public and available to anyone who read the paper. They also they also concealed their identities with aliases sometimes. In the 70s, the CB radio craze turned the airwaves into a peer-to-peer network. This is where we get the concept of a handle or on-air identity. CB also had his own shorthand abbreviations and slang to make communications more effective. Over a century later, we had mass media through newspapers, radio, and TV. Along comes the reemergence of social media. ARPANET and email, both developed to help people collaborate and work remotely, led to what became the internet in 1980. In the 90s, Tim Berners-Lee created the web and the first web browser to encourage collaboration and provide a new place for people and ideas to meet. The development of blogging helped establish conventions like reverse chronological posts, comments, and subscribing to others. This brings us to Twitter, which, along with Facebook and others, has defined the most recent phase of social media. They are a continuation of a long tradition, and as you can see, built on what came before them. Social networks are once again spreading news and ideas, spreading information, enabling conversations across great distances, and fueling revolutions and protests, just at a larger scale than ever before. Today's social media systems don't just connect us to each other, they link us to the past. Thank you.